So if you were a truffle, what kind of truffle would you be?
A white truffle.
A white truffle.
Yeah, and you?
I think I would be a black truffle.
You'd be like a summer truffle.
I like black truffles. I think black truffles have always been my favorite. I like white truffle like itself, but like black truffles is just, we could use it in anything and it tastes so good. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah, but black truffle you have to cook, and white truffle, to make it like really special, you have to cook black truffle. But white truffle is just like bam, in your face, ready to go. Which
It's
maybe
also
means that
not-
you are a white truffle.
It doesn't, yeah, oh yeah, I'm like a bam.
Yeah.
I'm like a bam. I just thought it was awesome today because we saw such beautiful truffles.
Oh yeah, did we?
Yeah, Estelle came and this episode is just so awesome. I learned a lot about truffles. I guess I didn't realize how dangerous it is to farm it. I didn't realize how deep these truffles are underground.
I had no idea how deep a white truffle is. It's so fascinating compared to the black truffles.
Yeah, and I think it's awesome that Estelle came to America and was not planning on selling truffles at all, but is a huge foodie and was like, why not? Let me figure this out. And she's now running Strega Provisions. And this is the episode, guys. I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, we hope you enjoy. There's so much to learn, so much you're going to learn about storing, buying, cooking, truffle dogs. You're going to learn a lot.
Yeah. All right.
Very exciting. Best birthday gift I could ever ask for.
Stay tuned. Hello, my people. It's Dahlia.
And Nicole.
And we also have Estelle.
Hi.
How's it going?
Very good.
Thank you so much for coming on here.
Thanks for having me.
So, Nicole, you want to start out? Because Nicole's like, first of all, we've been wanting you on here since we had the idea of the podcast. We're like, we need the truffle lady.
But don't call her the truffle lady, because there is somebody that calls themselves the truffle lady.
Oh, yeah?
And she is
Okay.
not the truffle lady. She's, in my opinion, a better truffle lady.
Yeah.
So this is Estelle. She is the owner of Strega Provisions. She sells truffles, black, white. I know you've sold to me like dried flowers, quince, all different kinds of things.
Seasonal stuff.
Produce.
Yeah. Seasonal produce. Fruits, vegetables, mushrooms. Mostly non-animal products.
Okay. And do you find them... Okay, never mind. I don't want to jump too soon. So
yeah, Nicole's going to she wants to go in it right now.
I have a lot of questions.
Nicole has a lot.
So we decided to bring Estelle. We really wanted her, and this is a great episode for seasonal or for the season. It's the holiday season. Everybody wants to celebrate. Maybe you celebrate with wine, or maybe you celebrate like Dahlia and I with truffles. I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
we just had a huge truffle meal.
or caviar. Yeah, I don't know what you guys want to celebrate with, but we have Estelle here who's going to teach us about truffles. There's some things maybe I know, maybe Dahlia doesn't. Maybe you guys don't.
Oh, yeah, Dahlia doesn't. Yeah, thanks.
No, you said there were some things you don't know.
There's a lot of things I don't
There's
know.
also things I don't know, which is why I'm going to ask.
I do want to say, though, the day after Thanksgiving, I always do a truffle dinner for my family. And I have bought for the last, not the last 2 or 3 years, but before that, I always bought from you.
Okay.
Yeah,
Very nice.
so it's just it's funny because this year I couldn't do it. Because not that I didn't call you or anything, it just was it was a crazy year this year because it was Thanksgiving had to be big and the next day wasn't as big, so yeah, just wanted to say.
I felt like Thanksgiving was different this year.
Right?
Yeah.
The
Very
holidays
crazy.
are just different. You have to buy everything this year. Last year it was small and intimate and I don't know.
It's probably the same that it's always been, but we had a 2-year break of crazy holidays, and now we're back to normal. So
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Forgot.
must be working
we
a lot
just
right
I
now.
think we just forgot.
Yeah, I think we did.
Yeah, it was just totally not what I expected this year, but
So
anyway.
Estelle, why don't you tell us why you started this business and why truffles? I mean, you do lots of other things, but I imagine you're doing truffles for a reason.
So it's a very selfish reason, and it's a selfish job. It's just that I love to cook, and I like to eat good products, and I like to have them around. So I just, to try to make sense, I follow the seasons, try to find the best produce available locally, domestically and then imported in case we can't find them, close by. And truffles are what we have mostly in the winter because there's no more local produce, less fruits, less mushrooms, but truffles are a big item for holidays and during the winter.
Right.
The priciest items.
Yeah. Also. Probably.
So when you did you just like randomly one day wake up and be like, I'm going to start selling truffles?
No, it just happened.
Yeah.
I studied architecture and arts at school. I came to the US from France to be an architect, and I didn't like it so much. I mean, I didn't like to be like seated at the computer 15 hours a day or at least 12. And I was passionate by food. I always have. I always worked in restaurants on the weekends just to make a little extra money as a server, mostly not in the kitchen.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, were you ever in the kitchen?
Yeah, I wish, but I didn't have the knowledge, like the training. So it's probably easier to find a job as a server.
You need less experience. Well, I guess it depends. Yeah.
We've all been served by less experienced servers.
So before opening your business, right before, what were you doing? Was this serving?
I was working for a company.
Okay.
That which is based in France, imports truffle and truffle products in New York and sell to restaurants. It was strictly a truffle company.
Okay.
And I worked for them for 7 years, and introduced some other product within that company, such as microgreens from Brooklyn, and I developed a few items for pastry because I have a sweet tooth. So when I got into a kitchen, I was always talking to the savory side, but I always find a few minutes to talk to the pastry side, and having some products for them was a good reason to talk to them.
Yeah.
And learn a little bit about pastry and taste sometimes.
Do you like truffle in pastries?
I was just writing. Have you ever had a dessert? I know that Chef Gaia made a dessert with truffle inside before.
Yeah.
What do you think of?
I don't think I had it, actually. Yeah? But one of the first person who told me that she was interested in using truffles in black truffle in chocolate was Caroline Schiff. She's a pastry. She's currently working at Gage and Tollner. And I gave her a little bit of truffle peeling during the holiday season that she used in chocolate.
Wow.
Cool.
Did you taste it?
I did. It was it was really good. I think that the black truffle has a chocolate.
Yeah, I can see that with like a cocoa kind of really like richness. Mocha. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And can be sweet sometimes when very ripe. It's more sweet than earthy in a way, or both.
It is sweet. That makes sense.
That makes sense. Yeah.
So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about the differences between white and black truffles, meaning where they come from, and I mean maybe just where they come from.
They can come from different places, but mostly white truffles are from Italy. That's northern to center to southern Italy. We can find more and more Eastern European white truffle as well from Slovenia first, which has a border with Italy, and Croatia, Romania, Serbia. But the best one.
I was gonna say, is the quality different? And
do you think because they know how to find it, and like those other countries are a little bit like smaller and like don't think of it as like a delicacy?
So they didn't know for many years.
That's why I feel like they wouldn't know that.
Yeah, for sure they didn't.
How do you know? You just start digging and.
Yes, and you bring the internet. Those past 20 years, like all the information is given to everyone. So even if you're in a communist country in Romania and you don't have access, you start. I don't know. That's just a guess that I'm making here. But the terroir is like what makes.
Or maybe an Italian man brought his truffle dog on vacation with him, and he found a treat in Slovenia.
Yeah,
possible.
That would be
We
crazy.
probably should look up the history of those
No,
smaller
but-
countries.
Okay, so what about the black?
The black,
Because there's quite a few different places the black can come from.
originally from Périgord, France, like discovered and brought into light by Caesar long time ago. Like a
Shocker.
farmer came, brought him a truffle, he tasted it, and it was like, oh wow, this is amazing. I want it again and again, and then it became like a delicacy, I guess. But you can find them in Italy. You can find them in Spain, and you can find them now at different time during the year in other part of the world. So Australia, when it's the summer there, when it's the winter there, it's summer for us. Peru, Chile, Brazil, I've heard.
Wow.
Do you
And they have them
think
in
they-
Oregon as well,
Oh,
on the
really?
East Coast. I'm sorry, on the West Coast.
Yes, it wouldn't be the black melanosporum that we're talking about right
Okay.
now, but other type of truffle. There's probably like, I don't know, maybe 3,000, maybe more type of truffles.
Wow.
Not that exist in the botanical world. Not all of them are edible. A lot of them are edible. Some are good, some are bad. You know, there's a multitude. Like it's the same for mushrooms, fungus.
Yeah.
You know, fungus, you have the mushrooms that you can eat, and you have those that, you know, you shouldn't eat or
Yeah.
even
Yeah.
try.
Do you think like the ones that are like semi-bad are used for the oils? Is that, or
Oil is usually only aromas.
okay?
So in a lab, just trying to come as close as possible to the
So
aroma
it's not
of a
like
real truffle.
pressed truffles at all.
It's very rare.
Yeah.
If some company creates a truffle oil with real truffle, it wouldn't last very long because
Okay.
the oil would deteriorate. Like it would have to be sold and used within 2 weeks.
Oh, wow.
So you can make it at home, or it's
Or in a
probably-
restaurant.
or in a restaurant, right? But it's usually not sold in stores. What's sold in stores is aroma, only
Yeah.
chemicals.
Wow. Do
mean-
you ever use truffle oil at home?
No.
Do you know truff sauce? Like it's like this truffle sauce that everyone's been like so hyped about.
I see the label, but no,
Have you
never
tried it?
I've tried it.
I haven't tried it.
I like Cholula's. Like that's my hot sauce. You know, I don't think truffle needs to be in a hot sauce.
I don't think truffle needs
You
to
know,
be in everything.
Yeah,
it doesn't
it's
need to be
strange.
spicy.
Yeah, spicy and truffle is not usually a combination you
Yeah.
see very often.
So I think it's like just for the people that are like, yeah, look at the $16 hot sauce I
yeah,
have. You
look
know
at this
what I mean?
truffle sauce. Yeah.
But yeah, no, I always thought it was just like I never liked it. And I think again, it's like not for chefs. to
No,
use.
it's not. It's for the home cook who just wants to buy something fancy.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can you tell the difference between a good truffle and a bad truffle? Like if you're a chef who really is into truffles or who's starting a restaurant but you've never had the pleasure of working with truffles, how do you know the difference between a good one and a bad one?
If you're a chef,
Yeah, if you're a chef.
your nose, your nose,
Okay.
your ability to smell and recognize what smells good is like the main tool.
Yeah.
Then you have to like look at the truffle, see that it's not soft in some areas, but it shouldn't be too hard as well, because that would mean it's very dry. The density that you weigh in your hand should feel very heavy, even for something that's small. When you pick it, you think,
It shouldn't feel hollow.
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
because that means also that the water content has evaporated. Yeah.
So what about cleaning them? How do you what's the best way to clean them? Can you clean the black and the white the same way?
No, you can. So they're clean before they come to the U.S. Coming from another country, the U.S. doesn't allow any dirt from another continent, or probably another country coming on their soil. So they've been cleaned. Usually, the white truffle is cleaned with a sand type of mix that every farmer or every truffle seller has their own mix. So that means it's clean dried. And the black truffle is actually cleaned in water, like it's put in water fully. It doesn't. It's no problem to remove all the dirt around.
So when I went, and I know that the two of you know, but I went truffle hunting in France. And one thing that I thought was the coolest thing is they showed us where they clean the truffles and everything. They wash them, and then they use all that water that they wash the truffle in, and they water the garden or the ground with it. So all those spores like go back into the grass and go back into the...
Did it smell like a truffle like field while you were walking around?
Well, in where they're cleaning them, yeah, because some
Okay.
little pieces break and like it really, but they wash it and then they save all that water and then they put that and then they like, I thought that was so crazy because they're washing off the spores and everything. I don't know if everybody does that, but I thought that was awesome.
It's also quite disgusting, but when you put a bunch of truffles in a bath of water, all the worms, because it's an underground, it's a tuber, it grows underground, there's a lot of bugs down there. So all the little worms, they come floating on the top of the water. So that's also like...
Because they leave the truffle.
Yes.
Because they're like, oh, we're drowning, and then they come out.
Exactly, yeah.
Wow.
So
I didn't see that part. All I saw was just the dirty water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Using the water in whatever they're growing outside is good because also all the worms are probably feeding the soil as well.
Yeah, that's
so
awesome.
The truffles that you buy, have you ever gone to the farms or meet the farmers?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
How many different farmers do you have?
So usually I work with one region, which is gathering from farmers, around them in their region. So I have let's say one broker who works in his region or with different region in Italy and get truffles and then sell them to me. In Italy also I have one particular relationship with someone who has one property because I just started to sell olive oil that is made for Strega Provisions and it's 100% organic Tuscan olive oil.
Ooh. Yum.
And it's made on a property where they also have truffle trees. So I get truffles from a single origin, one property also in Tuscany, Italy. In France, I don't get any black truffles from France right now, but I used to from Touraine or Périgord, but it's very, very rare to have truffles coming actually from Périgord, the same as the white truffle.
Which is funny, because I feel like they write that on the menu all the time.
It's their nickname. It became a nickname for the black truffle.
So like Champagne, it's not actually from Champagne anymore.
Right.
You
well,
know,
it should be, but
you know what I mean.
People drink Prosecco and still call it champagne. Because the name, it's still sparkling wine.
But it would be forbidden in France.
Yeah.
Yeah. She's like, whoa, not the same, not the same.
Americans don't know.
Yeah.
For the Americans that don't know where truffle comes from, can you explain? Where is it? Is it above ground? I know it's under, I know where it is, but can you explain to people?
And what kind of tree and the specific conditions you need to find.
Yeah. So just to finish with the nickname, Périgord for the black, Alba from the white. For the white, Alba is a tiny region in Italy where not all the white truffles are from. But they kept the nickname because supposedly those are the best ones. You can still find very good quality truffles in other part of Italy. The Périgord that I get are coming from Spain, 100 kilometers north of Valencia. So it's very close to the border of the Pyrenees, the mountains that are partially
crazy.
in France. Yeah. They grow underground, so that's why it's so difficult to find them. You don't see them when you walk around. You need dogs or pigs. That was the original way to find.
Is it true that the white have pigs and the black have dogs? Or do they?
I don't think so. It depends on the farmer himself. If they have been used to use pigs, then what happens is that from one pig, they get piglets. They train the piglets. Yeah. Also, the mother pig or the mother dog, it's the same. Train their babies with
I've
the
heard.
milk that she's giving to the babies. If she eats truffles, then eventually the flavor is going to go into the milk. The piglets or the puppies, they're going to taste it.
Look for
and
that.
they will be able to recognize the flavor.
How
smell.
long, like how much is it underground?
The white truffle are much deeper than the black truffle. White truffle can be 5-6 feet.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it depends. But
Oh
it
my
can,
God.
It can be very, very deep. I actually learned that very recently. And the black truffle can be as deep as maybe, I don't know, 2-3 feet, but usually
Only like a couple
much-
inches, right?
they can be a foot or two, probably maybe not 3 feet.
Yeah.
Maybe a
And I
foot
know
or two.
you guys,
But they can be also like very close to the surface.
Do you think the bigger they are, the deeper they are? Or
not necessarily.
Doesn't matter.
yeah.
If they are big, it's because they were able to expand wherever they were. So maybe there was less roots in the area where the spore started its symbiosis, and then it was able to grow. It was in the perfect conditions with a lot of rain during the summer, and it grew without being bothered.
So do they both?
trees.
What kind of tree do they need?
The black truffle, mostly oak and hazelnut trees,
Yum.
and
Love hazelnuts.
And then that's interesting. I didn't know. I knew that about the oak, but I guess I didn't know about the hazelnut.
hazelnut can give truffles much faster than an oak tree.
Oh.
Within maybe 5 years. Again, like you plant a tree that's been incubated with truffles, meaning the baby tree before being planted has roots. The roots of the trees have been mixed with a very ripe truffle. So that's the incubation to make it like easy to understand. I know it's probably much more complicated than this.
Yeah.
And then you plant the tree with the truffle in the roots and let it grow. Maybe within 5 years for a hazelnut tree, you can start seeing truffles.
Mm-hmm.
If it's oak trees, you may wait 15 to 20 years to get your first truffles.
Wow.
It's not a perfect science. You might never get any truffles. You might get them sooner. You may get them after 50 years.
So what if I wanted to grow truffle and I just took a truffle shavings and threw it in my yard in 10 years or 20 years with my oak tree? Is it possible? Or do they not have
Anything is
spore?
possible.
Yeah.
That's
Michelle,
true.
Anything is possible, but you need to have like all the perfect conditions.
Right.
So the pH of the soil, the type of soil, the climate, the tree. There's a lot of mystery still on how the truffle grows.
When hunting for a truffle and when you have to do the digging, what do you use? Like just a shovel? You could just sit there and...
Oh,
Or
their
is it a
hands.
machine?
Like no, usually farmers they use their hands.
But if
They
it's
have
6
sometimes a-
feet, if they have to go down 6 feet.
I have a photo actually of a dog in this season in Tuscany.
Wow.
Digging, like he's digging very hard in a very hard rocky soil to find a truffle like super deep.
Wow.
So the dog does most of the work, I believe.
Wow. And they're not paid.
No,
No, but
they're
they
paid-
cost a lot.
I could imagine how much...
they get a lot of treats.
what kind of dog is it? It's
Well, when I went, I mean,
it's not a greyhound, is it?
No, when I went, it was just a little fluffy white dog. I don't even know what kind of dog it was, but it's like a breed of an entire family. And they actually told me that the first meal the puppies ever have is they rub the truffle on the nipples of the mom. And so before they ever taste anything else, they taste truffle from the mom's nipples. And it's crazy. And then they just constantly breed. But
So a normal truffle dog, like I just looked it up, is a Legato Romagnolo. Am I saying it right? And it's like a little fluffy dog.
it's
Like
a
they're-
little fluffy.
I'm thinking like a hound, because hounds I thought used to hunt, but I'm thinking.
Oh, there's some that are right
Okay.
there. But the one I saw is just a little white fluffy dog.
In one of your episodes, you said you were talking about dogs and what you would be, both of you, if
Oh
you were a dog.
Oh, I said a golden doodle.
Yeah, so
But it reminds me of a little, like a
doodles-
mini doodle.
there's a lot of those actually hunting for truffles.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But honestly, any type of dog, if you train the dog, it doesn't have to be like a certain breed.
As long as it's like started from the baby and learns.
And
But
they
is
know
that
the-
why it's called hunting? Because you're using a dog?
Probably.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it's a lot of searching in the forest all day long. Probably the same idea you would be hunting,
And
or something else.
I also saw that the dogs, there was a puppy who was training with the mom dog while I was there. And the mom dog would dig and know when to stop. Because as soon as it gets really close, it stops. But the puppy tore the truffle because he was learning. So he went in and then he came up with it in his mouth. And the mom came up to him and was like, don't do that. Like she even told him, like, I don't know
so
what she
cute.
said, but she was like, this isn't what we do.
That's
So
funny.
it's so funny that I think maybe when you're training, the puppies, they don't know. They're just looking for that smell that they want.
Yeah.
But it's so crazy. And the pigs are the same?
The pigs are. The pigs can be trained, apparently. I had no idea until I learned about truffles. But yeah, the pigs can be like very obedient. It depends what's your relationship with your pig. For some farmers, they had pig around like forever, so
Yeah.
they know how to train them. But they've been a little bit more eating the truffle compared to a dog who can learn how to stop. Maybe a pig can be a little bit more gluttonous.
Yeah.
The word?
Yeah, he doesn't want to stop.
That's what they're known for.
That's so crazy.
Aw, little piggies.
Um,
So cute. So cute. So I want to go into, can we start talking about selling the truffles?
yeah.
Okay. So you came to New York City. You were like, I'm going to do some truffles now. I'm going to start selling. Were you excited to start selling? Like, what was your, like, feeling about going to different restaurants? And
Selling was not the main excitement for me. It was like getting into a kitchen,
yeah.
seeing how they work, meeting with the chefs, like again, like pretty selfish reason, like just because I'm interested, and that's like you can go to the restaurant and see only the room and the wherever the guests are dining, but going into a kitchen is very special.
Yeah.
So
Can I say how I feel when people come to sell the truffles?
yes, you can.
I feel like you guys are coming in and you're drug dealing. Because you lay it out, you got your scale, like it's like some hipster drug lords coming in, and
it's really quiet. You're not like, hey, like you're not the
yeah, you don't come in and you're like,
you're not
I'm
the guy
here.
dropping the produce. He's like, hey, can you sign for this? You're like, hey, who's in charge? Like that's it.
That's true.
Yeah. Do you feel like as if like it's sort of like a mischievous sort of way that you're doing everything?
Yeah, I'm actually sometimes selling truffles in the street at the back of the truck.
You've done that for me
So-
before, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So you
A
are a
couple
drug
times.
lord, you know?
It is a little bit of a drug that's legal. I mean, now, there's some other drugs are now legal. So
So it's okay.
They're coming to the restaurant with their scales. No, I just think it's funny that like you come in and you have to have a relationship with the chef or someone that you're selling it to. Like how do you get connected with them? Do you just call up and be like, "Hey, I'm coming through"?
Or do you just I think sometimes you just show up too, no?
yeah, if you know, after a while, yeah, you go, you talk to a chef in particular. Eventually, when you get your shipment, you see that you have like very nice truffles that some particular chef would really like. So you let them know and you send pictures. And so they tell you, oh, come over tomorrow in a couple of days. Save some for me later. I have too many. But when you don't know a place or a restaurant, I've heard that sometimes you don't even have to talk to sell. You just show, if you can get in,
Yeah.
see the main person, the chef, you open your bag, you say, "Hey, chef, smell, look," and the sale is done. You know,
Yeah.
just by the product. You don't need to talk about it. You just need to show it.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's-
I mean,
that sounds fun, but at the same time a little like nerve-wracking because you could just like, you know, they're sitting there, they're staring at it like you're selling diamonds, you know, like. You're like,
well,
this
she
is
said no, it's more like potatoes.
potatoes. For you, it's potatoes. For like me, I think this is a beautiful thing that I'm just like, I'd rather have this than a diamond. But you
It's
know,
quite ugly when you look at
it
it.
is.
But
It's not the prettiest, but you know, for chefs, and
Yeah, of
for
course.
foodies, we're
It's
like,
just,
oh
it's
my
special,
God.
yeah.
Like this is our
I
baby.
know it's precious.
Well, when
Yeah,
I
it
was
is
working
precious.
as a private chef, I did a couple truffle dinners, and she always insisted on, if it was a full truffle dinner, she insisted on buying her own truffles from someone we mentioned earlier,
Okay.
the truffle lady.
Oh, okay. We could just say it all out.
And she would also pick them. And so
Your
Boss.
my
Your
old boss, the client I was cooking for privately.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always say like, hey, next time just let me get my own. Like I can bring my truffle connection here. And she really insisted on it, but you're right, it's just the product sold itself because you open the bag and it smells so fragrant immediately. But what you really need to do is smell each one individually.
Right.
And yeah, the truffle dinners, I always regretted not buying them directly from you, but it wasn't my choice. She wanted to be the one to pick them because it's a thing.
She
it's
was
like,
paying for it,
because it was
Nicole.
her birthday.
Yeah.
So she's like, this is my birthday present. I want to do this. I want my girl. And I'm like,
But
okay.
like you said, it's like a drug deal. So it's exciting, and it's and just seeing all the truffles and picking them. I'm sure that your old boss, she was very excited.
She's so excited, yes. But then at the end, if there was something wrong, she's like, that didn't taste that much of truffle. I'm like, oh, maybe if we had different truffles, it would be better. I don't know, but it's so interesting because what we see as chefs in truffle products, it's like night and day versus what somebody would just grab into a bag and be like, I want this. This is great. This is the first one I
black
found.
one, and you're just like,
Yeah, I
oh,
want
but
this,
did you
the
feel it?
biggest one. This is awesome. When really maybe the biggest one isn't the best quality. It's just for show.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really interesting.
So how do you sell now? You sell on your website?
I do, yeah. I sell on my website for anyone, a foodie or people who wants to enjoy at home. I started it last year during the pandemic when there was not a lot of restaurant business, and I thought I also had some inventory, not necessarily truffle, but
Yeah.
I had inventory of a lot of product, and I thought that was the time to start proposing for
It's smart
home
though.
delivery.
A lot of people want truffles at home. That we can't just go out and buy it. They're not the best when you go to a store.
That's true.
Yeah.
They sit there for
Yeah,
a
the
little
ones
while.
in Italy I saw last year were terrible. It's like,
People buy them.
I know
They
because
go and buy them.
they do, but
And though last year was a good season, like
Yeah.
the quality was pretty amazing, and the price there was not so much demand because restaurants were closed, at least here.
What did they do last year with all the truffles?
I
The last
think,
2 years.
I think there was still some demand here
Yeah.
and there. I wasn't
sorry about that. It's a
Motorcycle.
motorcycle going through the neighborhood.
I was a little bit afraid of bringing one shipment, but then a lot of chefs who were working in restaurants started to work privately, started to do parties and find a way to work no matter what.
Yeah.
And people at home wanted to enjoy some truffles. So I was a little bit scared on bringing them the first time, and actually they were selling
You sold
You
as
know, quite
fast
well.
as you went to a restaurant.
differently, but
Yeah.
as
Smaller
fast,
amounts to more people, probably.
probably.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting.
That's crazy.
I also want, how do you determine price? Because I know each year I feel like is always a different price.
And the price difference between the two, I think.
Yeah, well, white, no one knows, white is more expensive.
Yeah, in case anyone
In
doesn't
case
know. White
anyone
is
doesn't know.
way, way, way more expensive.
Which also makes sense because you're saying it's down almost 6 feet underground. Like, it should be more expensive because of, one, that.
It's hard to get. It's still very wild. I don't think I've heard of any trees incubated with white truffle and planted and bringing truffles. I am not sure. Maybe I don't know much about that. But black truffle, considering that they were able to start growing in other part of the world, not being something that was originally growing by itself. It means that it's easier to control somehow.
Yeah.
The growth. So they are cheaper. They are less expensive, let's say. What was the question?
Let's talk about price now.
Pricing.
Like, what would you sell black
they-
truffle and white truffle now for?
They have a market price. It's like fish, I believe, like the demand and the offer. What we can find, anything wild, really.
Yeah.
Porcini, let's say, if everybody wants porcini when they're fresh, but there's not really any more of a season for them. They come and they go. So the price is given by my suppliers,
Yeah.
and then you apply, all the cost that goes around it. So the transportation and the customs clearance, and then you add up a little bit of a margin, and you sell them the price that they are, but mostly the price is given by the origin where they're coming from, and the offer and the demand is what makes it more or less expensive.
Okay.
At the moment, it's been a difficult season for truffles. It started really bad, usually in September, and there was nothing. In October, there was still not a lot of white truffle available, so the price was high, and the demand is so big this year.
Because restaurants are open.
And people
Yeah.
wants to go out, and they want to
Spend
party,
money.
they want to spend money.
Yeah.
So the price is around, like, you mean wholesale or
No,
Like-
what you
Whichever one you want to tell us.
whatever
let's
you
say
feel
it's-
more comfortable.
It's close to $9 or $10 a gram
Okay.
For white truffle.
for white truffle. And the black truffle, they started 3 weeks ago. They are not fully ripe yet, though
That
we
one's
saw that.
beautiful.
Yeah,
Yeah, that one was
finally they're
gorgeous.
getting a lot of color, and they get better and better. But it's the beginning of the season still. With the holidays coming up, they usually go up in price. So it's about, let's say, $1.50 a gram,
Yeah.
$1.6.
Which that's crazy. The white truffle is 10 times the price.
pretty much, yeah,
Always.
yeah.
Yeah.
The price I'm giving the price per gram. The price per pound is usually at least the double for the white.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
So
but
just so
also-
guests know, like 1 gram is so small. So
Yeah.
$10.
That's like 2 slices.
No, maybe
Not
one.
even.
Yeah.
Yeah.
1 gram is 1 slice. So if you go to a restaurant and you have 10 slices, that's $100 of truffle. And these slices are like a millimeter thin. So the price is just crazy, but the amount of work that goes into it and how rare they are, it's worth it.
When you go
They
out to
come from
eat, do you
far.
ever get truffles?
When I go out to eat, I had one of my customer and
Yeah.
he bought truffles from me. I want to try what they do with it. Yeah,
Oh,
just
that's fun.
Oh, that's
it's interesting. I want to see how they transform it, how they sublime it.
yeah.
What's-
What's your favorite way of eating a truffle?
I'm gonna show you in the munchbox.
Oh, okay.
I have to put it in the oven soon.
I'll put it in the oven while you ask the
There's-
next question.
There's several ways, but it's such a simple thing. I mean, it's not simple, but like the best way to enjoy them is quite simple. Like
Okay.
bread and butter for the black truffle.
That's your favorite?
yeah, a very nice
What's
bread.
the best meal or the best dish you ever had with truffle? You don't have to say where but what was the pairing?
say where.
You can if you want.
I mean, I love pizza.
Oh.
And yeah, I might have been Italian in another life. I love pizza and pasta. But I had white truffle on a white pizza. I don't remember where, and I wonder if it was not.
Was it in America or Italy?
Yeah, it was it was here, but I think it was at someone's place. They just bought pizza, and we shaved some white truffle on them, and it was really, really, really good.
Wow.
And I had last year for the first time the calzone at Marta. It's a pizza place in Manhattan.
I heard of
Oh, I
Marta.
haven't.
29th and Park. And they made a calzone with the black truffle inside. And that was probably one of the best thing I ever had.
Wow,
So
that's
good.
funny
Wow.
that
It
you
was
like.
very generous.
Yeah.
The cheese was very good. The dough is just
Amazing,
perfect.
yeah.
So that's one thing that I think we should talk about with the listeners is that black truffle are better when they're cooked. Not always better, but really most people cook black truffle in some sort of way, but white truffle is better just raw, shaved on top. So why is that? Do you know? Can you explain that?
I have no idea.
I think because it's thicker, like it's coursed. Does that
more
make
coarse.
sense?
Yeah.
Like it's just like a thicker taste,
And
so
like
you
a
have to make
sweetness
it.
comes out of the black truffle when you actually like sear it or not sear, but when you saute it or steep it or something.
I guess we're answering the question.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
We're not letting you answer.
I mean, you know better.
I guess that's true.
That's funny.
You've used them much more than I did because I see them, I receive them, but then I don't transform them, and you guys did
Right,
with
true.
your job.
What about you, Dahlia? What's your best truffle dinner or the best dish you ever had with truffle?
Well, like black truffle, I like it like in a jus, and like
Like a sauce?
yeah, like just in a sauce and just eating it with like bread. Like that's like my favorite thing. White, I think like any like basic pasta dish, I like it because you could taste the white truffle and
Yeah.
like the purity of it. I don't know. I can't tell you where I've had the best. I've made the best black truffle jus.
Well, it's nice when it's you because you eat it right away. It's not like you
Yeah.
eat it, they make it and then you eat it.
There
a
is
couple days
times
later.
though where I like was working and it was just like a truffle dinner every day that I had to like cook for, and like you sort of just like, ugh, all right, like I have to keep tasting it and tasting it and tasting it. But that's like with anything. So
Yeah.
there was a time where I was like, oh my gosh, truffles again? Like, come on.
I think that's why chefs enjoy more the black truffle because when you have like, I don't know, 4 weeks, you have to do like a multiple
Yeah.
truffle dish. You have much more, it's much more volatile
Yeah.
to use black truffle than the white you can only shave on something.
Yeah.
So you don't have a lot of creativity
Also, black
there.
lasts longer because of the freezer, because you put it in the freezer.
They can be frozen and they
Yeah.
can be used out of season if you cook them in a jus, in a sauce, in a
Yeah.
terrine.
Yeah. Is it like a vegetable though, like frozen peas, where you could pick them perfectly and then you freeze them right away? Is it still the same when you defrost it and use it?
The texture is totally different, but
Is it?
yeah. Just like a
Like it's moist,
green
like-
bean. If you freeze a green bean, it's gonna be limp. It's gonna like the way the water
Yeah. Okay.
the way
but
the
like the
cells all
flavor
water.
wise is still
The
there.
flavor is good, yeah. I mean, it remains like the freezing process. I guess just keeps all the good stuff in any produce.
Yeah.
You just don't. Just shouldn't freeze it for too long,
Yeah.
and use it like within a few months.
Like anything in the freezer. You
I
shouldn't
always
keep it in
thought
there.
that white truffle was obviously superior because, well, one, when you don't know much about truffle, you assume the white truffle is the best. But also, it's such a treat because you only shave it on top, and I wear at Danielle black truffle everything. It's like black truffle jus, terrine, butter, everything. You can do it. I mean, so many black truffle dinners, so many everything. But for me, cooking it, I was never eating composed dishes. You know, I'm making the sauce, and then I'm making this, and then I'm making that, and then I'm making the spinach with the truffle, and then. But I'm never sitting down for a meal and eating this and really like grasping the whole thing. And And my favorite dinner ever, which is surprising because
we didn't ask you.
I know, nobody asked me.
We didn't ask her.
Nobody asked me. And I cannot say Danielle because it's too, everybody's going to expect that. They're going to expect me to say that. But surprisingly, it was at Per Se because I never thought that I was going to love Per Se because I just thought it would be too similar to what I was doing. I thought it was going to be too similar to Danielle. Whatever. I was
completely wrong.
Completely wrong, but I just didn't know. I'm like, it's the same caliber. I'm doing this all day. Like, I don't necessarily want to go and eat the same thing I'm doing all day. Obviously very wrong. But they served us white truffle pasta, which was great. But it was this black truffle risotto, and it was like served with a sherry pairing. And I didn't even know I liked sherry then. But it was so good. Like, in that moment, I realized how amazing. Because it was a nice, creamy, beautiful risotto. But it was a truffle jus, like a beef jus around. And it was the best truffle dish I've ever had in my whole life. And I'm like, wow, this is why we do it. And it's so crazy to go to another restaurant to really understand it. But I think that...
I also think it's funny that, like, it's a very expensive product, and everything that every chef is putting it on is a very cheap thing. Like pizza, risotto, and
eggs.
Pasta. Yeah, like...
Eggs,
They're all like 25 cents. You know what I mean? And, like, then we add something here's this expensive thing to make it just 10 times better. I don't know. It's also, I think, the experience of the shaving. Can we talk about the shaving? Why is it so important for the thickness or the thinness for each truffle?
Yeah, I guess it depends. I didn't know before I started selling truffles, but a lot of chefs peel the black truffle. I don't think you peel the white truffle. The skin is much thinner and smoother usually, but the black truffle can be very coarse, thick skin, and supposedly this is the French way to shave, to peel the truffle and use only the flesh inside.
For shavings, but you use the peels for something else, like the sauces or...
I don't think I've ever properly peeled a truffle. Like, I feel like I've always used the whole thing. No? Am I doing it?
No, I
everything
think
wrong?
a lot of the times it depends. I think it really depends on the truffle. Like, if it's a truffle that's nice and round, then you don't need to peel it.
Yeah.
But if it's a truffle that has so many different layers, and if it's going to break anyways when you shave it, you don't want a big chunk of truffle dropping into someone's plate. So you
or if you want to shave thin, it's true that the skin can be in the way of the
thin shavings.
Yeah.
Oh, because it gets like stuck on the edges of that
slicer.
Makes sense, of the slicer.
Do you have to always use a truffle slicer? Like,
no.
Use
any
like you
mandolin.
use a mandolin, yeah. But it's just the nice.
Even a potato peeler that works.
Or some people use like the black. They do microplane too.
Oh yeah,
with
I've tried microplaning.
I think the black microplaned is really good.
I love microplaned truffle. Is there any dish that you've seen with truffle on it? You're like, no. Why did you do that? Like, you're just like, that's not what you're supposed to do. I don't know. I feel like I always see that.
That's a good point.
Yeah, I wouldn't know necessarily.
You're like, oh, cool. They're using truffle. I can sell to them.
I mean, I never had really white truffle in a dessert that I thought was very interesting and very nice.
So you've had it, but you haven't liked it.
Not with the white, actually. Okay. But the black I had, I forgot when we were talking about chocolate, I had at Le Bernardin black truffle ice cream.
Ooh.
Which was like a very good, what's the chocolate and cream?
Cookies and cream?
Cookies, it was like a cookie and cream.
Oh, fun.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Because it keeps you keep some texture.
Yeah,
in
the
ice
texture
cream.
is
It
what...
never even if you blend it with the cream, the truffle always leave a little bit of a texture in the ice cream.
Yeah.
It was really, really delicious. But yeah, white truffle. I don't know if it really marries well with sweets. I guess I never tried.
I feel like I saw somebody who did I think we did a white truffle and chestnut dessert before.
Ooh.
And I personally did not do it because I'm not a pastry chef, but I think that it was white truffle and chestnut, which is a classic pairing anyways, right? But as a dessert, I don't know. I guess maybe we'll have to make one day. We'll have to have a white truffle munch box. But we're not having that. Okay, awesome. So, do you think, or I guess we talked about, you don't eat truffles at home?
No.
No.
Also because I don't really have time when it's the season. It's a lot of work. It's
running
a lot of
around.
running around. Yeah. But I don't, like, maybe for the holidays when I have friends over, family, and I know they want to try truffles, eventually I'll cook something with them, but no, this is not something that I eat very often.
Yeah. Well,
I don't eat it often either.
It's like a baker who's always like surrounded by bread and doesn't eat much bread anymore.
Right. Or me, when I was cooking French food, I didn't want to eat French food on my day off, that's for sure. I feel like the same with pasta or whatever you do all day. You don't want to continue it. That's awesome.
So I want to talk about storing it. You walk around with these ice boxes.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, is that heavy to just carry around all the time?
It can be heavy, so that's also a very good motivation to sell them. Is that like, oh, the more they're gonna get, the lighter I'm gonna be for the next stop, you know?
Oh, that's funny. So you have to keep it cool.
Yes, you have to keep them. You have to keep them refrigerated.
Okay, so
Because
under 40 degrees constantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the best.
Are there any regulations on truffles, like selling truffles, or I know you said that they need to be cleaned before they arrive to the U.S., but
What else?
how
You
is
need a
that?
license
Okay.
Yeah.
to be importing them.
Okay.
Is it like a mushroom license or is it a truffle license?
It's separate from mushroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know like mushrooms just became like in the past like 20 years a license.
I mean,
to
even
sell.
importing potatoes, it's crazy because they have so much dirt on them that it
Yeah,
needs to
but I
be-
mean like just selling them in general, like mushrooms used to not be a thing. Like I remember studying about mushrooms in college and they were like they just started getting regulations with mushrooms because like people were just selling mushrooms, like no license or anything. They were just doing it. And that, well, I know you need a license for everything, but there's a specific license just for mushrooms. And now truffle, how was that hard to get? Like how did that?
No, not at all.
No?
It's just like
Like
a
a
piece
test?
of paper.
Oh, just a piece of paper.
Yeah.
They didn't even ask you any questions?
No.
Wow.
So I could
Yeah.
Wow. It's going to put
You
it on
can
my
be-
new resume. Just
you can
like,
be an importer and import the license. You need to import them to
Okay.
bring them. So it's more like for the government to check and have all the names and contacts for where they are from, who's selling them here on the territory, so they can like go back in time if there's any issue. I don't know, someone is sick, eating a truffle. Or they discover a new disease, like we're in the middle of it,
yeah.
because of a product, then they can trace back where it
Can people get sick from truffles?
So apparently, it's something very hard to digest and, to break down in the body.
Okay.
So if you eat a lot of it, you might have
So like if I go to a truffle dinner.
I don't know how much you need to eat really to be in the range of
I feel like everyone's stomach is so different from each other.
Also.
So
Yeah.
we all could be sitting at a truffle dinner and like knowing me, knowing Nicole actually, she's gonna be upstairs
I have
already.
a very sensitive stomach, so for me, yeah. But I've never had any issue with truffle, and I think I've eaten my fair share of truffle.
I read that in a book that they are hard to break down in the body, but what is it? You need to eat 500 grams,
But you're also
a pound.
already shaving them. It's not like you're taking a big chunk and swallowing it whole.
Exactly.
Like you're shaving them so thin.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, I just want to because the pigs just go in there and they just start going at it. So
That's true.
and they have no problem. Maybe they do. I don't know. But that's funny.
But a pig breaks down anything very
Anything.
easily.
Yeah, well, they could eat anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. What?
This is so. Is there anything that we didn't ask you that you think people should know about truffles? Like anything at all, or how? What type of? Maybe let's talk
Oh,
about-
we didn't. So we were talking about the price and the storage. Why is the white truffle also much more expensive than a black? Because they're highly perishable. So a truffle you can't keep very long when it's taken out of the ground. Every day, every moment, every hour, because of the contact with oxygen, they lose a little bit of flavor. So the faster you eat it, the more aroma you get. And the black truffle you can freeze, you can cook. They have like they react to heat and actually like reveal a lot more flavor. But the white truffle, if you start cooking them or if you want to freeze one, it's going to lose all the aroma. I think also there's like something very big in the nose for the white truffle, meaning like
Yeah.
you get them all in the nose and
And
maybe
that's- yeah.
less in the mouth. The black truffle, on the other hand, you get a lot of flavor in the mouth. The aroma is maybe a little bit more subtle.
Yeah, the aroma's there, but also like the.
We've been smelling it all episode.
It smells so good.
It smells so good.
Yeah.
No, I totally feel the white truffle where like it's all in the nose.
Yeah.
Which also people enjoy that. They love to
I
smell.
love it. Just a
Yeah.
yeah.
And
So
it's a weird feeling when you smell it.
who or what is the craziest person you've ever sold truffles to? Is there somebody famous or some restaurant that you were really excited about, or somebody just crazy that you never expected?
I don't know. I mean, it's
They're all unique.
Yeah, they are. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I sell mostly to chefs, although they have the same profession. They're all like extremely different.
Yeah.
Everybody has, their own their own way of choosing and their own like. There are some chefs that I really wanted to work with and that I get to after a lot of contacting them and showing them truffles and coming once a week. Eventually, I got to sell to them, chefs that I wanted to meet, and sometimes it's just like people are calling me. I don't even I don't even know them. We've never met, and I sold to Oscar de la Renta. I sold to.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, some people that are can be famous, I guess. Sometimes I don't even know where they go because some people call and they're going.
Like
for me, you don't know who my client I'm cooking for
exactly.
is. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that's true.
There's a lot of private chef that I sell to, but I'm not allowed
to know who it is. Yeah.
to ask them, where it goes.
Yeah. Wow, that's
crazy.
And sometimes I go to some houses or apartments. I don't even know, who lives there, but it's usually very surprising places.
What's the largest number, like quantity by weight or number of truffle you've ever? It's to restaurants, I'm assuming. You ever just is there ever somebody who's like, I'll take everything you have? Yeah. Wait.
Oh yeah,
I know who you're trying to be right now.
It happens, and sometimes it's also like for special events.
Yeah.
Where I ship truffles like outside of the U.S. for a very big event with truffles for a lot of people. So it can be like, I don't know, 20, 30 kilos, which is 50, 60 pounds.
Okay.
Maybe,
Yeah. Wow.
at a time.
Wow.
Yeah, but maybe there's like 100 or 1,000 people there.
And do you have to take a lot of precaution with these truffles in your own home? I know that when I was learning and when I went to France, the farms, I mean, they get robbed, their dogs get kidnapped, their families get kidnapped all over truffles because they said that people break onto their land and steal truffles at night. It's very like a dangerous thing in France, right?
Yeah,
So
it's pretty bad.
Is it the
In
same for
Italy
you
too?
now? Yeah, it's crazy. But is it the same for you here in the U.S.?
Not really, because first of all, people would have to know like what am I carrying in my bags. But I think the main reason is then what do you do with them?
Right.
The perishability. They're very perishable.
Yeah.
So you need to move them within what, 2 or 3 days. If you end up with 10 kilos of truffles that worth over $10,000, if you sell them, who do you sell them to? There's a competition in that industry, but also everybody knows each other.
Right.
So if someone shows up with like 10 kilos of truffles that someone is missing, but we don't know that person, and shows up in the kitchen, I think it would like the word of mouth would go really
Because
quick.
everyone's connected. If tomorrow one chef showed up and, nobody knew where all these truffles came from, then somebody would know.
Yes.
And it's all over the news. I'm sure there would be a news article like $10,000 worth of truffles stolen. I've seen it. Somebody stole, when I was living in DC, somebody stole a friend's coffee, like a truck, and they had like $10,000 worth of coffee beans in the truck.
Wow.
And somebody stole it, and it turns out like whoever stole it didn't know what was in the truck. They were just stealing it for
the truck,
for the
vehicle.
vehicle. But what's so crazy is that the whole coffee scene is like, oh my God, did they steal it? And they think it's because they're stealing their beans that they just sourced from a different country. Really, that's not the case.
Mm-hmm.
I do feel like the truffle farming is a little dangerous.
It's so dangerous.
Is there security everywhere?
No. And the guy I met, he even told me you don't even hire people to work. It's only family, because the second you hire somebody, you don't trust them, or they're going to give you access. And they said that.
Do you also think that's just like a European mindset?
I don't know. I mean, it's a big business. It's also in markets in Europe where a farmer brings his truffle to sell to a broker. That's how they're called. Then the broker is the one, finding, people to resell to. So it can be to me in another country, or a salesperson in a main city, in Milan, in Paris, who's going to sell to restaurant. Everything is in cash. So there's a lot of cash involved.
So it's not just about the truffle, it's the
such
cash.
a drug dealing business. That's what I'm saying.
You go to a truffle market in France, in south of France. That's the first market that was something that struck me when I went. It's the first market I've ever been where you don't see the product, and everything is in cash. But
so what is it? Just tables everywhere and just people standing there and be like,
so
here.
Yeah, tables, back of cars. They show a bag.
Oh my God.
The truffle is full of dirt because it came out of the ground,
That's
so it's
beautiful.
hidden. And the bags are those bags of potatoes,
the sacks.
The sacks.
Yeah.
And the guy is there, he opens his bag, you can see the truffles, the couple of truffles at the top.
Mm-hmm.
Eventually, sometimes they allow you to take one and cut a little slice to see inside the level of maturity. But you can never see all the way through the bottom, and you have to buy a lot. You have to buy the bag.
You're buying the dirt pretty much too, right?
And you're buying the dirt.
Wow.
But also, you buy the bag for a certain price, and then they put it on the scale. There's a price per pound or per kilo, put it on the scale. But you're never allowed to go dig at the bottom of the bag and
So it could be
check
potatoes down there.
Exactly, or rocks.
And do they do that?
Oh, sometimes, yeah.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Do you have to be invited to this market, or anyone could go?
No, people go. I think it's a thing that...
Weekly?
It's weekly, yeah, every Saturday, I think. People usually do the trip. To people who are interested in truffles, they do the trip. They go to a city where there's a market.
All
they go
white.
To the market.
Is this white because you said Italy,
That's
or this
black.
is France? This is black
France.
because you said France.
Wow.
That's so crazy.
I've never been to one in Italy. I hope I will,
But
So you feel safe with truffles here. It's not like something that you feel like over there they were saying, you know, one of them had been shot. They had been shot at. They said like the son had been held at ransom. The dog got kidnapped.
because it's a big business in very small regions and towns where there's not a lot of people. So it's the main attraction slash source of income for some people during the winter. Most of those farmers, they have like another,
crop or something.
Yeah, that they do another time of the year, and then comes the winter. That's what makes them live in the winter, or save a little bit for the
also
following
the
crop.
law system is very different in France than it is here. Like, here, like, you could sue anyone for anything. And I have a friend in France, he always makes jokes like, oh, no one in France sues each other.
No, but also gun laws are different too. They told me that if somebody breaks in, robs your family, steals your son, if you shoot him and he dies, you're going to jail for it.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
that's crazy.
It's just
He
so
is
different.
threatening your life with a gun, and if he dies in your house because you fought back, you're going to jail for it.
Who wrote that law?
So they can't even, they say, like, once they get to your house, you're almost helpless because they come with multiple people.
That's crazy.
And luckily they have dogs and they can see coming, but it's just absurd.
They're scaring her.
No, she already knows. I'm
She
sure
knows.
she knows more than I'm even saying.
But yeah, compared to here, nobody's like running for truffles all over the place in New York City. You know what I mean? Like if you think like over there in a small town where there's no attraction except the coffee place, in the center of the town, then they all meet at the market on Saturday morning. They all try to find the best truffles. So some have properties and some others are just trying to steal at night from one or another property in order to have like something to sell on the Saturday morning market.
So they even steal from each other. It's not like, a kid who wants to make money. It's somebody who didn't happen to get enough truffle, but they still want to show face at the market, so they're going to steal someone else's in the middle of the night with flashlights. With a stolen dog on your property. It's so crazy.
Wow, that's insane. That's so fun.
Dahlia, is Munchbox ready?
Munchbox is ready.
All right, let's get into it.
So now we're having our Munchbox, and I'm so excited. So what did you make us? Tell us this creation.
You asked me earlier what was the best truffle dish that I had. And when I went hunting in the south of France, we had like a truffle dinner, and they served that big miche of bread full of truffle and butter inside that is served warm. So yeah, that's what I made.
You made it.
I didn't make the bread.
Well, that's okay.
Where did you get the bread from?
I got the bread from La Bicyclette Bakery in Williamsburg.
Oh, awesome.
Okay.
Florent is an incredible baker. Like, it's, to me, the best bread that you can find in New York City.
In New York?
Especially the baguette. It's like perfect French baguette.
Wow.
Fresh every day.
Wow, we need to
amazing.
go.
Yeah.
You have to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
So good. So that's his pavé.
I'm going
pavé
in.
bread.
I'm going in.
Yeah.
We're going in.
I'm going for the same.
This looks delicious. Oh my gosh. It's like, so do you use a specific butter or
Just a good butter.
just a good butter?
Lots of salt.
Plenty of salt.
Wow.
I asked if we needed salt, but it's perfect.
I think I put the salt.
No, you put the salt. Wow. That's amazing.
What kind of butter did you use?
Just the butter I use at home. Hotel, bar or something. Like, nothing
Wow.
crazy.
This is amazing. Delicious.
It almost tastes like you added cheese, but you didn't add any cheese. Oh my god.
Maybe the bread, the sourdough bread, and the combination with the truffle that's warm and cooked Makes it like a
And then the
cheesy.
fresh shavings you did on top.
So did you cook the truffles before you put it in with the butter? Or you just chopped it up? I know. We're
Oh my god.
I chopped them. So because we're early season, I use actually frozen from the past season. Because when they're frozen at their peak. So very ripe. I chopped some with butter, probably a ratio of 10% truffle to butter, at least, maybe a little bit more.
You could sell this bread. Like
oh my
this
god.
truffle bread.
Is there a proper term for this or
Truffle bread.
truffle bread? Oh my god.
Pain surprise. You know, in France.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we know.
But with the
With truffle. We know good amount about pain surprise.
Oh my god.
It's not our favorite thing to make, but
no.
no.
Wow.
No one knows what it is. It's a surprise sandwich. I think we definitely talked about it on a podcast.
It's a surprise sandwich for sure.
Definitely on the event. The event episode when
How
me and
we-
you talked about what's one thing we hated making for events, and it was those, because like no one wants to put their hand into this surprise sandwich to like pull out smoked salmon, you know?
You need to put a little pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like again, Americans like they just want it like laid out, nicely spread out, you know,
Not
And-
touching each other.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not touching each other. Or this is like you really have to go in there.
It can be your new favorite.
Yeah, I changed my
thing to
mind.
make.
If this is a pain surprise, then I changed my mind.
Yeah,
because
like this could
is,
be
like,
the pain surprise that I make, you know? Wow, this is crazy. This is amazing. Thank you.
You're
So
welcome.
you also brought this. What is this? Well, I know what it is because I'm looking at it, but
So that's our first Strega Provision product.
the olive oil.
awesome.
You're doing
olive
now.
oil.
It's beautiful.
My friend designed the label. At Extra Bitters on Instagram, if you want to follow him.
Nice.
He's pretty amazing. He's always worked in restaurant, mostly in bar.
Is he an artist?
And
like
he's a illustrator.
illustrator.
Wow.
Awesome.
It's beautiful.
I mean, or an artist. Yeah.
So how
however
did you
want.
decide on this olive oil?
So because of all the product that I propose, and I started to carry salts and spices, peppercorns that goes well with, you know, fresh produce, fruits and vegetables and mushrooms that I propose all year around. I thought that an olive oil was what I needed, but it's very hard. I learned a lot along the way, like there's so many bad olive oil. And I made the chef try each time I had samples to figure out what would be a good olive oil until this one. So it comes from
Who did
one
you?
property.
Which chef? When you said the chef, like your chefs that you sell to, or
Yeah, I mean, I made them try the same way that they sometimes are looking for a product that they cannot find, so they ask me to source it. Sometimes I ask them, oh, would you mind trying this and those couple of olive oils and tell me what you think. The first time that I had olive oil to taste, I asked Mark Ladner, former chef of Del Posto, who is like very, very particular on his olive oil, and he tried so many, he knows a lot about olive oil. So I thought he was the best person to try. He didn't try this one, but he tried so many and was telling me no, for many reasons.
were you
So it was very
frustrated that he
interesting.
kept saying no, or did you probably just appreciated it?
Oh, I appreciated it very much. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I had no idea. To me, it was like, oh, yeah, okay. Oh, this is interesting. But no, there's like a lot of things that I learned along the way. So when this olive oil came in the conversation, I was like, yeah, sure. Send me a sample. I was not very hopeful. And I tried it the same way. I learned how to taste olive oil. It's a little bit like wine.
Yeah, like
You move it in your mouth. I mean, you can smell it, but then you have like a first a taste and then a finish. It shouldn't scratch your
it
throat.
shouldn't burn going down.
Yeah, like the
Which
scratching.
a lot of olive oils do burn.
Yeah.
That's a sign of
Yeah.
of bad olive oil.
That's crazy. So
Or like
where's
too much pressing,
this is
right?
from where? Italy?
Tuscany.
Beautiful.
So-
And So you say you sell other products. What is your favorite thing to sell besides truffle? Like, what is something you just get so excited, even if it's just for the season? You're like, yes, I get to sell.
Strawberries.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
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 I didn't know you sold strawberries.
So I started to carry TriStar when I discovered them. So it's local tiny strawberry that grows upstate New York. Only a few farms grows them, and they're very short. Like the season is so short.
In general, strawberries are so short.
Yeah.
So that one must be like,
And I started to get them from France, the Gariguette.
yeah, those are.
One that I remember being a kid, like really loving.
How many different kinds of strawberries are there? I mean, I know about the TriStar. Sorry, I'm still eating this bread. It's so good.
I know.
I know
I
about
want
the
another piece.
TriStar, but I've never heard of you said Galliette?
Gariguette. It's a type of strawberry that comes from Brittany in France. So I learned that in the 1700s, something like that, a botanical professor from France went to Chile, discovered those strawberries, brought back a little tree, and at the time he was working on, I think he was a passionate by a botanist, but only like a part-time. Like he loved, everything plants. But he was doing another job in Brittany, so that's where he planted his little tree that he brought from Chile. And then it grew, and became like the first good, ripe, sweet strawberries variety that we had in France. Because prior to those, strawberries were mostly green and not so sweet, the one we had in France. So, yeah.
Wow.
Now it grows everywhere. Like you can find them in, south, east, west of France. But if you can get the Brittany one, that's the original.
What about fraise de bois? Is that similar or?
No, very different. Fraises des bois, they grow wild in the forest. I remember as a kid, like going to pick them during the summer. So if you can get like a handful of them, you're very lucky. They're very candy-like. Actually, the TriStar reminds me a little bit of them in a way, because it's small and concentrated in sugar. And yeah, so some people grow fraises des bois, but they're so fragile that the transportation would
hurt them. Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you so much for coming. Should we taste the olive oil now? Will it go with the bread really quick?
I think so.
Oh, well, anything goes with this bread. So tell people they could just order on your website.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what is the website?
strigaprovisions.com. They can order anything they need for their holiday season.
And it's not cash, guys. You can't just order on...
Yeah, you can use a credit card. We can ship to you. We can deliver to your home if you're in New York City.
Do you deliver truffles as well?
Mm-hmm.
I know that you do to restaurants, but to homes you can do delivery for truffle?
Yeah, of course. It's an option to buy truffles on the website. And a lot of other things.
And do you think you're going to continue growing Strega with other product, or you think you're just going to stick to what you're doing right now?
No, I hope to add some more products. We'll see along the way. Anything that makes sense.
Yeah.
The olive oil was great to add on. Just recently, I started to carry citrus also. Mostly from a farm in New Jersey that grows...
citrus in Jersey?
Yeah.
Wow.
They grow exotic citruses, boomy growers. They grow yuzu and sudachi and finger limes.
Wow, I'd love to go see their citrus farm. That's amazing.
Yeah, it's really cool. They're a family business. Very nice people. So that was something also I really wanted to carry, because there's not a lot of products in the winter.
Yeah.
We just talked about truffles, but everything kinds of dies in the winter. So the citrus is
Booms,
brightening a little bit the, my little basket.
Have you thought about opening up a little store?
I would love a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love.
Where would your store be
I
if
don't
you
know.
open one?
Wherever I would be, I came to New York. I could move out of New York and maybe open a general store,
Yeah.
you know.
I love little stores that sell good olive oil and
Like,
truffles,
really
and
special
exotic
items.
fruit. That would be amazing.
That would be nice.
Yeah.
I mean, New York is always a great place, but you can find anything in New York.
I just feel like people after the pandemic, or during the pandemic, they started going to other places, and so many places are booming now that were never booming before. Small towns are just opening up awesome coffee shops that actually have good coffee, and I don't know. I feel like you'll thrive anywhere if you want to open up a market anywhere.
I was going to say everyone wants truffles, but as we learned, maybe not the
Not
people
West
in
Virginia.
West Virginia. I have family there, so I can relate. But
Yeah, but thank you so much.
Thank
Everyone,
you.
please go on stregaprovisions.com. Make this girl busy, like she isn't already. And thank
she's plenty
you.
busy
Yeah,
now.
Yeah,
but
she's so busy.
the more the merrier.
Yeah, but order your holiday truffles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And thank you guys for listening. Don't forget to check us on YouTube, subscribe there, and then please follow us on Spotify and Podbean and Apple and
Wherever else you find
wherever
us.
else. We're also on Instagram at KishmyAssPod, at KishmyAssPod. Thank you.
Thank you.
Happy holidays.
Happy
Aw.
holidays.